All right, good morning. I would like to call to order the Health and Human Services Committee meeting, better known as the Rat Pack. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Ortman, Alderman Boyd.
Present.
Alderman Williamson.
Here.
Alderwoman Behringer. Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Howard.
Present.
Alderman Arnowitz.
Here.
Alderwoman Hubbard. Chairwoman Flowers.
Present.
5 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're going to hear Board Bill 81, which Dave Sequoia is going to come up and speak to.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for letting me testify today. This is a grant that we're receiving from the Missouri Association of Area Agencies on Aging, who received funding from the National Council on Aging in order to provide benefits assistance in the city of St. Louis. It's going to help, we expect to help about 5,000 individuals with education and outreach and actual assistance to approximately 325 persons. The funds will be used to contract with 2 of our current providers to provide benefits assistance across 20 sites in the city. Because of the way the program works, we're connected to a website from the National Council on Aging, so we're using some of the funds to purchase 2 laptops to be used at the various sites that we go to. We will have a very small amount that will go toward the salary of staff that's covering this. This should help us get people the core benefits of Medicaid the Medicare Savings Program, low-income subsidy, the SNAP program, LIHEAP, Medicaid, etc. And once we help them with that, then we will do things like circuit breaker, utility assistance, and other things. We're looking for these funds to just help us expand the programs we already have in place, and gives us an opportunity to use our other funds for other programs. So just look for your permission to accept the funds and use them as appropriate.
Okay, thank you. We're going to have questions. Anyone have questions from the committee? We'll go down and Alderman Boyd.
No questions.
Alderman Williamson. Alderwoman Howard.
I do have one question. How will people access this? Will this be provided through a central agency, or will it be distributed amongst the various agencies serving senior citizens?
We'll run the calls. We'll do advertisement through all of our senior community programs. We'll announce it through public service announcements, some limited advertising, things that we normally do. There'll be a call-in number, and we'll give people the opportunity to set an appointment at a location close to them. We have over 20 sites that we use, and we use it on an appointment basis when we know someone's there. That way they don't have to travel too far from their home in order to
or they could be picked up.
Yeah.
Right. What is this? In line 22 of this, it says on aging MA4. What is that?
MA4 is the Missouri Association of Area Agencies on Aging. There are 10 of them in the state of Missouri who receive all the federal and state monies for programs just like we do for the city of St. Louis, and that's our overarching organization that does all the lobbying and grant applications, etc.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you. And Dave, what are the 2 providers again?
One will be Mission St. Louis, and the other is Bilingual International Assistance Services. Those are the 2 providers that we work with the most, that have care coordinators, case managers, and are very big in our current assessment program. So we'll just extend the operations that they perform.
Is that through International Institute?
No, Bilingual International Assistance Services is a standalone agency. They work with International Institute, but it's called BIAS. Some of you, they have a Macklin Center over here, and they do a lot of work with the Bosnians, the Russians, the Ethiopians, all of the groups, minority groups and refugee groups.
Where are they located again?
They have a center. They're located over on Macklin and Manchester,
okay.
Right near the Humane Society.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Do we have any more questions from the committee? Did I get to you, Alderman Arnowitz? Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay. All right. Having no more questions, I entertain a motion to pass Board Bill number 81 out of committee with a due pass recommendation. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Ortman, Alderman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderman Williamson, Alderwoman Behringer, Alderman Cone, Alderwoman Howard,
Aye.
Alderman Arnowitz,
Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard, Chairwoman Flowers.
Aye.
5 aye votes do pass.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Board Bill number 82, Valerie's going to handle for us.
Good morning, Valerie Russell with the City of St. Louis Department of Human Services. I'm here to ask your approval for the acceptance of the 2013 Continuum of Care Grant application fund in the amount of $147,856, and application 2014 Continuum of Care in the amount of $146,197, and future Continuum of Care awards to be expended for planning grant purposes. The reason that these grants are such a small amount is that the Continuum of Care is an application that the city submits annually, roughly in the amount of $10 million. The HUD office has the discretion to also award different continuums of care planning grant funds, which would be 10% of the total amount that they award. So that's why these dollar amounts are so small. The planning grants can be used for staff costs and other types of expenses that are allowable. For these particular planning grants, we will be using them to cover some of the executive staff's cost within the Homeless Services Division, and for the 2013 grant fund, we are going to secure the services of a consultant to assist us with completion of the 2016 Continuum of Care application. The reason we're doing that is that we have lost critical staff in the last year. We're currently without a program manager 2. We just hired a program manager 1. We feel that we need the assistance of a consultant who is familiar with the HUD applications to make sure we put the city in a competitive posture to receive future funding. So we asked your acceptance of these awards so that we can do that. The 2013, we don't get the notification of that until the end of 2014. So the funds have to be spent within January of 2015 through December of 2015. The subsequent application funds, which is the $146,000, would be effective January of 2016, and we have to spend that between January and December of 2016. We have in here the awarding of any future grants because it takes us a while to get the notification from HUD. If we don't have to continually come back for acceptance of a board bill for those planning grant funds, we could begin to do RFPs and expend them in January as it is now. When we get the notification at the end of 2014 for the 13 funds, and we lost staff, it took us a while to gear up toward the board bill and to get that passed. So we're already in the middle of the year and won't be able to spend the entire dollar amount. With future planning grant funds approved, we can put it on the budget for approval and begin expending those as soon as the budget is approved.
Okay. Are there any questions from committee? Alderman Boyd? Ortman, I'm sorry. Alderman Ortman, any questions?
No question.
Alderman Boyd?
Yes, Valerie. Are you familiar with the Housing Solution Center that was proposed about a year ago?
I
for
am
the
not.
veterans?
Housing Solution Center proposed by the Department of Human Services?
Right.
Okay. I believe that that was a proposal where individuals would be moved directly into transitional housing and that centers would be set up to provide a wide array of services.
Do you know if that's off the table?
Currently,
still
that's
on
off the table. That was a proposal that was submitted by Antoinette Triplett and Bill Seedhoff. who are no longer with our departments, and it was not included as a new project under the application that we just submitted because funding did not allow for new projects. We're doing renewals of existing programs.
Okay. The Continuum of Care program, what exactly is the city doing under that program?
Under the Continuum of Care, and I apologize, I don't have that spreadsheet in front of me, there are roughly about 15 to 20 different subcontractors who provide services that are eligible under the Continuum of Care, and that is transitional housing, permanent housing, prevention, rental assistance, and other things for those individuals under supportive housing.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Okay, Alderman Williamson.
Like you were saying, $147,000, $146 basically for salaries that will be paid to help staffing for the homeless.
Right, and all of those dollars will not be used for salary of Homeless Services Division staff. It will not, no. Under the 147, it is our intent to do an RFP. We just got approval from HUD to release an RFP to hire a consultant who will be used to help us complete the next year's Continuum of Care application. It's something that's pretty lengthy. In addition, it includes assisting us to do the annual plan that's required and the CAPER that's required.
So facilities or, organizations like Places for People.
Right, the planning grant has our restrictions on what can be used for those, and funding other agencies is not one of the allowable uses of that. It has to be used for planning internally.
Thank you.
Alderman Cone.
Yeah. Good morning. Normally, when we see these ordinances or billboard bills for grant funding, we do have a spreadsheet that actually provides the breakdown of where the funds are going to be going. I'm hearing Continuum of Care. I'm hearing that part of this will go towards staff salaries in the Homeless Services Division, and then the remaining funds are going to go towards, and there's going to be an RFP that's put out.
Correct.
So this is basically also acting as a pass-through for other community-based organizations that are going to be applying for funding to help support Continuum of Care services within the community.
The RFP could be responded to by an organization or an individual who has those specific skills to assist with the application process.
But they're not city agencies, they're individuals and organizations out in the community.
That's correct. And we just got special approval for that. That was not in the original application that we submitted in terms of use.
Can you, and I think this might be an issue for me now being on this committee. This is the first time that I've served on the Health and Human Services Committee. I get a lot of emails about homelessness and homelessness services in the city of St. Louis. The city is currently fighting a battle over a large shelter downtown at this point in time. I know that we're trying to work as best we can with that particular shelter, and I can certainly understand the frustrations around working with that particular shelter. But the questions I get are very meaningful questions in terms of, what is the city going to do? If these 275 beds at this shelter are no longer available, where are these folks going to go? Are they going to come into our neighborhoods? Are they going to go into, providers that are, shelters that are paid for, built by the city, managed by the city? Are they going to, partners within the Continuum of Care spectrum? I kind of usually reply to those that, based off of the conversations that I've had with the commissioner, Eddie Roth, that the city is trying to build its capacity in terms of emergency beds that are available to folks who are in that particular position. But I haven't seen anything to that extent. So, and I think that's just a lack of me not having been on this committee. I haven't received a regular update from the commissioner in regards to that. You know, but I know that at one point in time that shelter was scheduled to, or was potentially going to be closed at the beginning of summer, and then it's been stayed till I believe this fall while we're trying to work through either our capacity issues or the issues with that particular shelter. And I am by no means a fan of the individual that runs that shelter. I think they profit from poverty. That's my own personal opinion based off of my experience working with them. But I am concerned about the 275 beds that are in there and the individuals that need care.
Alderman, I would be happy to sit down and talk to you about your concerns. Alderman Boyd has also asked for some information on a particular topic. As you know, animal control is one of the top reasons why I took this committee, as well as diseases, communicable diseases in our area, because a lot of us do have prostitutes, which I heard you speak of in another committee hearing. If there's anybody that you would like to talk to about any issue, I know that because there's been a lot of changing of the guard, particular Melba taking over Pam Walker's position, and I also know there's a lot of issues going on right now with the Homer G. Phillips and the babies possibly sold. I know that they have their hands full. Right. So I'm really trying to give them a little time. This is our first committee meeting. I have been on the committee meeting for this Health and Human Services for a long time. It was the past vice chairman. So there are a lot of things that I'm chomping at the bit to get to as well, but I'm trying to give people time to get their footing. And I do know that there are also issues like, you know, we only have 3 vector control people. One actually is the only one working right now, and they're just running mail. It's a lot of issues that we need to get some updates from the health department. So I'm just trying to be a little bit sensitive, and I know that there's a lot of things going on, and I'd be happy to talk to you about whatever issue you'd like to bring before us. You didn't get the announcement before. This is the Rat Pack. We got a lot of things here that we are going to be dealing with, and I'm actually particularly very excited about it, and this is going to be a very excited committee. So I'd be happy to talk with anyone about anything that you'd like to bring up in this committee, whether it deals with health or the health here at the Board of Aldermen. So we can sit and talk afterwards.
I appreciate that, and that's one of the reasons I defer to the chair on the matter here, and certainly appreciate your enthusiasm with all of those issues as well. And so I just wanted to bring it to your attention as well that all of those things that you mentioned are very important to me as well. And I look forward to working through them on this committee, and I certainly appreciate giving the director and commissioners the opportunity to get acclimated to their new environments before bringing them before us.
But just let me know your issues, because I do plan on trying to have a meeting with Melba as well, just kind of get a little bit of an update.
Thank you.
If I could just make one comment.
Yes.
That's okay. Director Roth will be available as well to answer any questions that you may have. The extension has been given to the New Life Center until October. In the interim, we have opened 50 beds for women and children and 125 bed maximum for men. And those are currently operating as homeless shelters.
That's great. I really appreciate that update. Mm-hmm.
Are those located at the 12th Street?
The 125 bed maximum for men is operating at the 12th and Park Recreation Center. The 50 beds for women, children, and families is operated by the Gateway Homeless Shelter.
Okay, Alderman, well, Howard, you.
Okay. How will these funds be accessed? I guess, how, in other words, how will anyone in need, will there be an intake process, or I guess, homeless
Or the
people?
planning grant funds, those are specifically for administrative funds. They are not for direct services.
Okay. Now, you mentioned this is going to be used to hire a consultant. Did you write, you're going to hire a consultant to write the same grant that this is?
We're hiring a consultant to assist us to complete the application that we are going to have to submit for the next year's funding. That application, or the NOFA, as it's referred to, is typically announced in July, August, and then we will have 3 months in which to submit that. And
Now,
so
is
we
that
will be
the
doing
same-
an RFP.
Is that the same grant as?
It's
that
Continuum
funded
of
it?
Care, and it is the same grant.
Who wrote this one?
These were done by the previous director, Antoinette Triplett, and she is
Why
no
are
longer
we
with the
hiring
agency.
a consultant?
We have not replaced, well, let me put it this way. Antoinette Triplett left in 2014. We were able to secure another program manager, initially a program manager 1, and then upgraded that person to a program manager 2. That person resigned in May of this year. So we've got to secure another program manager 2. Right now we're without that, and therefore without the experience that it takes to go through that application process. The HUD was very concerned about our ability to handle all of the different tasks that are necessary in order for the city to complete the application and submit a competitive application for funding consideration. They agreed to allow us to use the 2013 funds that they'd already sent us a notice of, so that we could secure the assistance of someone who has the expertise to help with that application.
So about how much money needs to be spent on hiring someone to write that grant application?
I believe there will be approximately $75,000 that will be utilized, and that will be from both the 2013 and the 2014 funds.
So in essence, we're hiring another full-time person, and we still have 2 vacancies, is what you've just told me.
We have a certification
We're
list.
paying the cost probably of another full-time person.
Correct.
And we have 2 vacancies.
That's correct. Department of Personnel right now is doing the certification and interviews to replace those individuals. Those interviews will not start until the end of June. So we won't have anyone in place, I'm sure, before July, and there's a learning curve to go through all of the regulations. We want to make sure we don't have any mistakes on the application.
Any more questions, Alderwoman?
That's all. Thank you very much.
Alderman Ornowitz?
No question.
Any more questions from any committee members? Alderman Boyd?
Yes, Valerie. Is there a brochure or a pamphlet that lists all the different services that are offered by the Health and Human Services Department?
There is a brochure that lists all of the services and program areas within the Department of Human Services. We're not blended with the Health Department. It's a separate department.
I'd like to request that each committee member get a copy of that.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you.
And if you would let me get that, and I'll make sure to
Okay.
distribute it.
I'll get that to you today.
Any more, Alderman Williamson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, Valerie, just wanted to ask you, and you guys do an excellent job in what you're doing with the homeless, but as far as the St. Louis County, are there any departments or an organization out there that really takes in the homeless like we do in the city of St. Louis? Is it just basically everything is kind of thrown in the city laps when it comes to homeless?
St. Louis County has a Department of Human Services.
Mm-hmm.
That's our counterpart there, and they do have an office and staff who handle homeless services as ours does. They receive funding separately from HUD, and their Continuum of Care, which is the body that decides how those dollars will be utilized and submitted in the application, does fund homeless shelters. Unfortunately, most of those shelters that they fund are also located in the city.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay. Thank you. I entertain a motion to pass out Board Bill 82 with a due pass recommendation. It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Ortman. Aye. Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Williamson. Aye. Alderwoman Behringer. Alderman Cone.
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard.
Aye.
Alderman Arnowitz.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard. Chairwoman Flowers.
Aye.
7 aye votes do pass.
thank you. Okay. Well, let's just convene the meeting of the Health and Human Services Committee, better known as a RAT Pack. Everybody have a good day.